Let's dive right into this explainer. Today we're examining a historical mystery that has baffled investigators and captivated sleuths for over 4 decades. We're looking at a story that feels like it was pulled straight from a premium investigative documentary, a case filled with faded photographs, old police files, and a really heavy atmospheric sense of the unknown.
The crucial point here is this haunting opening hook. 5 men leave a basketball game in California, and hours later, their abandoned car is discovered high up in the mountains. Nobody could explain why they were there. A simple, everyday drive home had somehow turned into a chilling disappearance that absolutely shattered a community.
Section 1. Who were the Yuba County Five? To understand this mystery, we first need to look at exactly who these guys were. Affectionately known by their families as the Boys, these 5 incredibly close friends were actually eagerly preparing for a Special Olympics basketball tournament the very next day. A victory meant a free trip to Los Angeles, so they were really excited. You had Jack Madruga, a 30-year-old Army veteran and meticulous driver who never let anyone else touch his car. Bill Sterling, 29, was deeply religious and loved the library. Ted Wire, 32, was just incredibly friendly and trusting, though a bit of a slow learner. Jack Hewitt, at 24, was basically Ted's shadow and absolutely hated using the phone. And finally, Gary Mathias, 25. He was also an Army vet who was actively being treated for schizophrenia, but his doctors considered him a huge success story because he'd been doing really well for 2 years. They were reliable, they were loved, and they had absolutely every reason in the world to want to go home.
Section 2. The Last Night.
To understand the massive anomaly of their disappearance, we have to meticulously track their final confirmed movements. So it's February 24th, 1978. The guys attend a college basketball game in Chico, California. Around 10 p.m., they stop at Bear's Market, grab some snacks, Pepsi's, chocolate milk, and hop back into Jack's turquoise and white 1969 Mercury Montego. The plan was a straight drive south to Yuba City. But inexplicably, instead of heading south, they ended up 70 miles away on a desolate, snowy mountain dirt road deep in the Plumas National Forest.
Section 3. The Investigation. When investigators finally located Jack's prized car, the physical evidence at the scene literally only deepened the mystery. They found it sitting at a 4,400-foot elevation, right at the snow line. The vehicle was unlocked, and one window was rolled down, which Jack's family insisted he would never, ever do. The keys were missing from the ignition, sure, but police quickly realized the engine was in perfect running condition with plenty of fuel left. Even crazier, the heavy car's undercarriage was completely undamaged despite that rugged dirt road. That tells us it was driven very carefully by someone who wasn't panicking. They essentially abandoned a perfectly safe, functioning vehicle in the freezing cold. Adding to that chilling atmosphere, we have a really bizarre witness statement. A man named Joseph Shones was actually stuck in the snow just up the road, suffering a mild heart attack that same night. He told police he saw a car pull up behind him, he heard voices, saw flashlights, and desperately shouted for help. But the response? They completely ignored him, turned their headlights off, and the forest just went dead quiet. It's incredibly eerie. If it was the 5 men, why would Ted Weher, a guy specifically known for helping people in need, ignore someone crying out in pain? Section 4. The Mountain Cabin Discovery.
Months went by with no answers. Then on June 4th, the melting snow finally revealed a grim breakthrough. A group of motorcyclists noticed a foul odor at an abandoned U.S. Forest Service trailer camp nearly 20 miles away from where the car was found. The front window of one of the trailers was broken. Inside, investigators walked into a heartbreaking scene. They found the decaying body of Ted Weher, wrapped tightly in 8 sheets from head to toe.
Now here is where the reality gets truly staggering. Based on beard growth and autopsy reports, the coroner estimated Ted survived inside that freezing trailer for over 70 days. He went missing clean-shaven, but was found with about 13 weeks of beard growth. That means, while massive search parties were actively scouring the mountains below, implementing all these standard rescue grids, Ted was slowly dying just out of their reach.
The scene inside the trailer presented this massive, tragic paradox. Ted succumbed to starvation and hypothermia, ultimately losing half his body weight. But investigators found that dozens of sea rations had actually been consumed, opened with a military P-38 can opener. That makes sense, given the military backgrounds of Jack and Gary. But right nearby, there was an untouched locker containing a year's supply of dry food, completely ignored. There was also a full butane tank sitting outside that could have easily heated the trailer, just left unused. And perhaps the strangest clue of the whole shebang, Gary Mathias's shoes were left behind in the trailer.
Section 5. Evidence Analysis.
Okay, let's separate the hard forensic facts from the speculation here. We know for a fact that Jack Madruga and Bill Sterling died of hypothermia 11 miles from the car. Jack Hewitt's remains were found just 2 miles from the trailer. But Gary Mathias, he has never been found to this day. This leaves us grappling with some massive theories. Why leave a safe, running car? Why was Ted left completely alone in the trailer? And did Gary swap his shoes for Ted's and just walk out into the wilderness? The forensic timeline of who made it to the trailer and who died on that brutal 19-mile hike remains incredibly debated.
Section 6. Major Theories. As everyone struggled for answers, a few major hypotheses emerged. First, the theory that they simply took a wrong turn and got lost in the dark. But let's look at the facts. Jack drove that specific route home countless times. You don't accidentally drive 70 miles up a winding, unpaved mountain logging road for an hour without realizing it. It defies basic logic. Plus, they bypass dozens of obvious places to safely turn around before ever hitting the snow line.
Then there's the theory that they were chased into the mountains by local bullies or attackers. But again, look at the physical evidence. The heavy Mercury Montego's undercarriage was totally unharmed. If you're terrified and fleeing for your life up a pitch-black mountain, you're going to drive recklessly. The pristine condition of the car tells investigators that whoever was behind the wheel was navigating those mountain ruts methodically and deliberately, not in a panicked, high-speed chase.
What about Gary Mathias? The theory that he survived is definitely an enduring one. We know he previously walked 540 miles from Oregon to California, surviving on absolute scraps, and he had military survival training. The fact that his shoes were left in the trailer strongly suggests his feet swelled from frostbite, so he swapped them for Ted's larger shoes. But here's the reality check. Gary had schizophrenia, a long-term stealth survival scenario, never pinging a radar, never having a run-in with law enforcement, and never contacting his beloved family for 40 years without his medication. Experts agree that seems nearly impossible.
Section 7. Final Mystery.
As we wrap up this explainer, we're looking at a cold case that just absolutely refuses to give up its secrets. More than 4 decades later, the Yuba County Five remains one of America's most haunting disappearance cases. It's a stark reminder of nature's unforgiving power and how rapidly human logic can break down under extreme, unseen pressures.
And it leaves us with one final, chilling question to ponder. Why did they abandon safety for the freezing darkness of the Plumas National Forest? And what truly happened in those final, desperate days? What unimaginable circumstance could convince 5 men to walk away from their only lifeline and into the deadly winter mountains? Keep asking questions and keep seeking the truth.